You spent 2 decades grinding up the corporate ladder, making the right moves, only to realize the ladder is leaning against a collapsing wall. Mid-career professionals are now systematically dismantling their legal, physical, and fiscal footprints to leave their home countries permanently. They are liquidating domestic lives to participate in a borderless global arbitrage. In 2024, 4 million highly skilled professionals emigrated from 31 Western nations, packing up their capital. In Canada, net emigration sat flat for 50 years. Then, in early 2024, the line violently breaks upward, marking the highest first-quarter talent loss in 7 decades. The highest earners are looking at the math and opting for total geographic liquidation. They are choosing to move their wealth out of the country before a domestic decline becomes a permanent trap. The exodus is rooted in the deteriorating economics of the primary urban centers these professionals once called home. Over the last 10 years, business expenditure on research and development in Canada has flatlined at roughly 1% of GDP, about half the OECD average. This has created a missing middle, a shortage of high-growth businesses capable of retaining top-tier talent. Instead of investing in technology or capital equipment, corporations have relied on an abundance of inexpensive, low-skilled temporary labor. This shift has effectively substituted innovation for headcounts, suppressing wages for specialized professionals across the board. A tech worker in the United States currently earns a 46% higher median salary than their Canadian counterpart for the same role. But a lower salary is only half the pressure. The breaking point occurs when these stagnant professional incomes meet the local housing market. Analysts track this through the Demographia median multiple, which divides the median house price by median household income. A score of 3 is considered affordable. Any score over 9 is classified as impossibly unaffordable. By the third quarter of 2025, Greater Vancouver reached a median multiple of 11.8. With the average detached home sitting near $2 million, it is now the least affordable market in the country. Nationally, mortgage payments now consume over 52% of the median household income, well above the historical baseline of 40%. For a mid-career professional, middle-class capital accumulation is effectively over. The domestic system extracts maximum tax revenue from high-ability professionals, while mathematically denying them the ability to build and preserve wealth. As the workforce begins to leave, sovereign states are responding with legislative measures designed to lock in fleeing capital. In 2025, the United Kingdom abolished its historic non-domiciled tax regime. It was replaced with rules that eventually target a resident's worldwide assets, drastically expanding the domestic tax net to include wealth generated outside the country. The policy change triggered a historic wealth exodus. The UK is projected to lose 16,500 millionaires this year, representing nearly $92 billion in fleeing capital. Thousands of company directors and prominent executives are now executing exits to more favorable tax jurisdictions to shield their assets from these new regulations. Canada employs its own wealth trap, the departure tax, triggered by deemed disposition rules. The moment you cease tax residency, you are legally treated as if you just sold almost all your worldwide assets at fair market value. This forces an immediate capital gains tax on unrealized appreciation, creating a severe financial penalty just for crossing the border. This environment also repels high-skill immigrants. Doctoral degree holders are twice as likely to leave Canada within 5 years than those with only a bachelor's degree, citing systemic barriers and stagnant income growth. Punitive tax regimes and integration failures accelerate the velocity of capital flight to global safe havens like this. Institutional data from the central bank reveals the deeper macroeconomic reality of this trend. There is a common assumption that national economic weakness is a general phenomenon, spread evenly across the population. The data shows the decline is actually highly concentrated. This chart highlights a Bank of Canada working paper showing that the loss of just the top 10% of income earners accounts for up to 75% of the total GDP per adult gap between Canada and the US. When this specific group of degree holders leaves, the knowledge economy systemically fractures. A high volume of low-skilled labor cannot replace the capital formation and productivity driven by the top 10%. Exporting these citizens causes a hollowing out of national productivity, costing the economy billions every year. For corporate leaders, this represents an immediate retention crisis. You can no longer assume high performers will accept domestic stagnation as a given. To maintain a workforce, corporations must establish permanent, borderless work models. This allows specialized talent to relocate to competitive jurisdictions without severing their corporate ties. Firms should also leverage equity-based compensation and tax-efficient structures. This helps top performers bypass punitive personal tax rates and actually accumulate capital. Sovereign states must dismantle progressive wealth regulations and lower marginal tax rates to survive. Until structural land use and tax reforms occur, the terminal stage of the domestic talent squeeze will continue, further solidifying a parallel expat economy for the elite. Successful professionals are no longer asking how to win the domestic game. They are exiting completely.